You would think these guys would know that their mics are not on for this Open, and there's a reason for that. Couple of rookies. I haven't seen you guys in feels like 2 years. Last time we were all together was before the Masters, and I honestly don't even remember who we all picked.
I don't even know if Scottie Scheffler had a win the last time we were together. What a world we're living in.
Unbelievable. I appreciate you matching your sweatshirt to the flowers, Mike. You planned that out very well,
Mike. Friend. Where did you get that?
Truth be told, I had a nice sharp polo on and stepped outside, and it had cooled off a little. So I just grabbed the quickest hoodie I could find. It's probably got good.
Tyler, Mike
spit up on it over here, but
Mike,
this is from the farm. So I get one every year for Christmas with my name on it. This year I got Mike instead of Michael, which was a nice change of pace.
Beautiful.
But enough about the sweatshirt. It's PGA Championship week, boys.
Yes, and before we get into that, Tyler, good segue here.
Yes.
Before you got onto the Zoom, Mike asked me if I was channeling my inner Xander Schauffele picking this week, and I said no. I'm channeling my inner Sergio Garcia.
Perfect.
So with that. With that, we're going to end the show after 2 minutes. All right. So, is anybody surprised? These are the top 7 odds, by the way. Anybody surprised at anything on this list? I'm surprised Dustin Johnson's so high. Well, Mike, you're going to talk about Justin Thomas, so go ahead.
No. I think Justin Thomas is right where he needs to be. He's been playing good golf. I don't think he's good golf. I don't think he's where everyone wants him to be, but he's going to be in the mix. I think John Rahm's a little bloated there, and I'm kind of interested. I'm not seeing names that might be flying under the radar like Patrick Cantlay and Kefka.
You're not concerned at all about Justin Thomas's game.
Are you kidding me? That guy's been a top 5 machine recently. He might not have killed things down the stretch in those finishes, but you know what? Sniff the leaderboard enough times, that win's going to show up, especially when you're JT. But maybe I'm a little concerned after what he did at the Masters. If we're talking majors.
Well,
backtrack a little there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. We were off for how many weeks, and you never miss a beat with a random hot take that I can't keep up with. I love it. So now we're pretty much in JT's camp, and he's going to finish here soon.
Well, let me be devil's advocate here, okay? Because let's go back to the the Players when he won last year. Do you guys realize that since then? You know he doesn't have a win. We all know that. He doesn't even have a second. And I think he might have 1/3. He's got some force. He had a fifth. He had a fifth this week. I'm just wondering where that Sunday Justin Thomas, I'm going to go out and shoot 65, has been. And I get last week was 1 week, and any given week, anything can happen. I picked him last week. Maybe that's why I'm bitter. I just sat there the entire final round wondering, Justin Thomas, it's not coming. Never really even getting close to sniffing the lead. And really, Mike, it's been basically every tournament since the Players. His weekends aren't what you'd expect Justin Thomas to do. So that's why I'm asking you if you're concerned.
It had been every weekend before the Players, too. It's not like neither then, too. I mean, remember my hot take there, how overrated he was going into the Players just because he hadn't done anything for a long time. But no, I think he's close. I think him and Jordan are still working through some putting issues, but the ball striking's there, and all it takes is seeing it go in on Thursday and Friday, and then riding the heater through the weekend up at the top of the leaderboard. I think it's a decent course for both those guys. Not to bring my dude Jordan into it, but he's my favorite this week. But yeah, I'm not surprised to see the odds. I'll say that.
Do you want to start with? Let's start with favorites. Look, you guys know my saying all along. I am throwing it out the window because I think last week with KH Lee kind of broke my mantra and my mentality on this. What do I always say? Not picking a repeat winner, and I'm not picking a guy who just won. Okay, well, KH Lee and Sam Burns both proved that wrong on winning back-to-back years. Mm-hmm. Scottie Scheffler has massively proved it wrong on winning quickly and often. So why not? why not pick Scottie Scheffler this week, okay? Take number one, even throw out the
That's
quote.
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
I'm picking him.
Yeah.
I'm picking him. Because why the heck not? Okay? And I'm not saying this just because, he's already proved us wrong before. I'm just going with the whole gut instinct of the guy's playing the best golf of anybody. He actually played some pretty good rounds this last weekend at Byron Nelson. There is no reason for me not to pick Scottie Scheffler, and I'm not talking about the odds at plus 1,200. I'm just talking about if you want to pick a one and done or if you've got a majors league, Scottie Scheffler, if you're going to pick him and you didn't pick him already, you pick him now. Because number one, he said he loves Southern Hills, his favorite golf course. You mentioned the way it plays, Mike, firm and fast. They've mentioned TPC of Scottsdale, where he won. The Masters, firm and fast, where he won. Arnold Palmer, firm and fast, where he won. It's adding up, and that's why I'm saying Scottie Scheffler. I'm picking Tyler probably in our bet. I'm one and done. It's Scottie Scheffler.
I think that's pretty solid. I do because I
why
just
not?
checked to see where well, there's no reason why not. And you're right. I wanted to see how he finished last week, and he actually finished. I mean, he's tied for 15th, but
it didn't really matter because he didn't play bad.
Well, no, but I mean, if you think about it, like everyone else went kind of low, and he was only 3 under on Sunday, so he actually could have been sniffing around the lead if he would have put together a 5 or 6 under here. But
and that course, nothing like Southern Hills, by the way. That bodes well for him because he was actually able to compete on that way different course.
And I think Southern Hills is a little bit more true when it comes to greens and everything. And I think these guys are so used to playing Southern Hills. Well, I guess in the past, playing Southern Hills in just the immense heat. And this year, I think the temperatures are going to be much more mild. The greens themselves are going to roll a lot truer. So for someone who can get the ball around and is playing as well as him, I don't know, man. I'm with you. I'm hoping that this is when we start to see I guess if we're not going to call them the perennial stars, but like the Brooks and those guys, I don't know really where they've gone, but if we're going to start to see the top dogs really start to always climb to the top of the leaderboard the second half of this year, I can't fight you on it. I think he's a good pick. I think I'm kind of with Mike though. I think I'm leaning more towards Spieth this weekend. Mm-hmm. I heard an interview with him from this past weekend, and I mean, he's the type of guy that when he says he's close, I think he's better believe him. Close. He's close, right? And like the things he's talking about,
he's there, boys.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
close for him means there for us. Close for him means I'm going to win majors by 3 or 4 shots or 12 shots. If you're him in 2015, right. When he says that, he's already there in our eyes, Mike, like you just said.
Yeah, and 2 things here. I'm gonna put a pin in the Spieth thing real quick before I forget what I was going to say. I thought you were going somewhere totally different when you brought up Sam Burns and KH Lee defending. I thought you had some hot off the press. Phil was snaking his way back into the PGA Championship. We were going to have some breaking news here to report.
I wish I did.
Kind of disappointed that wasn't the case, but Jordan Spieth, I've been telling you guys he's close, but I guess you need to hear it from him instead of hearing it from me.
I did. I
believe
to hear
it
from him.
And, as much grief as you're giving him over that pre-shot routine, does it bother you guys as much now that you're seeing some results?
Yeah, absolutely. And he even, like in his post-game interview, he even talked about how ugly it is. And it's just like him trying to get the feel for it.
He's embracing it. I'm over it, guys. I was talking about how ugly this was. I'm over it. I don't care.
I hate it. No, I'm not. I hate it.
Well, I don't know. Who cares? Because he's doing well. So let him do whatever he wants. Let him take a swing left-handed for all we care in a pre-shot routine. I mean, as long as the guy can figure it out. I agree. Absolutely. I like Scheffler. I like Spieth. If I'm going to go 4, like I do in all my majors polls, Scheffler and Spieth. I really want to talk about Cam Smith.
Yeah.
Was he a flash in the pan at the Players?
No.
Or is this guy legit and play really well on these kinds of courses, which, by the way, where he's done well, feels like a Southern Hills kind of course as well?
Yeah, I definitely not a flash in the pan, right? 2 wins this year. Great track record. Oh, man, I think we need to be a little afraid of him in the President's Cup. I think that would make sense. But sticking on this weekend, the way he rolls the ball on those greens, I think he could have some success there. But I'm not leaning that way. Ty, what's your take?
No, I'm impressed by him. I think it's more just because his composure. I never saw that. For, I just judging the book by its cover and with the mustache and the mullet. I think that kind of threw me off a little bit. But, I mean, his composure under pressure, and he's talented, man. He's so good that if he can just rely on his game when everyone else starts to crumble a little bit, I think you definitely got to watch out for him come President's Cup time. I think he's going to chew some people up. But I don't have him this weekend.
Well, one thing that would concern me with Cameron Smith, and I'll have to dive into it deeper later. So since the Players, here are his starts since the Players. And keep in mind, that was 2 months ago, exactly 2 months ago. Players, Masters, Heritage, and then the team event of the Zurich. So 4 events total, 3 single stroke play events since the Players. That's what I don't like about Cameron Smith. Now, below him, I have Patrick Reed and Hideki Matsuyama on this list for a reason. 2 guys I want to look really hard at this week. Number 1, Hideki. I think the injury is behind him. He's clearly playing his best golf of his career this year in specific. And I loved what he did at moments at the Byron Nelson. And this also just feels like a place that he would do well at as well, Mike. You don't agree?
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think what he's like on those firm conditions.
Let me look it up.
Like when he made his charge at the Masters, obviously it had gotten soft from the rain.
Okay.
I'm trying to think through, like, obviously he's got a multitude of wins, right? Surely some of those have come at some courses that were playing fast with some wind that caught up. But
well, to be fair, I don't think he's been, and if I said otherwise, I'll take it back. I don't think he has been a firm, fast golf course kind of guy over everything else. Actually, it's probably the opposite. Sony Open in Hawaii, I don't know if you call that firm.
Soft.
Yeah.
Soft.
I mean, Phoenix used T8, but he never really competed that much.
Well, I think he's a good guy to be on the list and have the Hideki watch going for.
What about Patrick Cantlay?
He shows up. I think he'll be up on the leaderboard. I'm real curious to see if he's on the leaderboard come Sunday, top 5. Can he make the charge, or is he just going to play steady Eddie golf and hope that someone comes back to him? Because I don't think anyone's coming back this weekend.
Patrick Cantlay is like an ex-girlfriend who you just can't stop thinking about. You want to get rid of her.
I don't even. What's that like? I don't think of any ex-girlfriends.
I didn't say mine. I said a, and I'm talking to the millions of people out here. But really,
millions.
Look at that analogy. Okay. As much as we want to, me at least, you guys do too, don't act like you don't, want to think about why Patrick Cantlay can't succeed, there's always things about him that I come back to thinking, well, maybe he actually does have it. Maybe he is good enough to reach that pinnacle and be a top 2 player in the world. I just keep thinking when I see him play well, okay, well, there it is. But then he gets in contention, and then everything is thrown out the window, and you go back to, that's why we did this. That's why we broke up in the first place, right?
Yeah, Chris. But I think what we fall into, it's that what have you done for me lately? But if you got to look at golf, you got to look at golf in terms of months and years. And if this is a lull for him, but he's still cracking top 20s, top 10s, then he rises back up. I mean, then that just means that, he's just that good. So, or is it a peak? I don't know. I don't think it's a peak, man. The dude's really talented. Again, composure's there. I'm hot on him too. I think Patty Ice is maybe not this weekend, but I think he could contend somewhere. He's gotta feel it, and he's got to be swinging well.
So
Ty, I just want to echo everything you said and say that all of that applies directly to Jon Rahm, except for maybe the composure part. But I think Jon Rahm's another guy who's riding out a trough and still staying relevant. That if he gets it going again, I think he can go on another tear like he did last year.
I want to get into a best value here. I looked up a stat, and I didn't realize that among first-time major winners, the PGA Championship, you would think, produces the most first-time major winners. It's actually not even close.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking. I'd be right with you if I had to guess. I'd say just from recency bias and kind of our lifetime.
Since 2001, There have been 11 PGA champions, their first major win. There have been 13 now with Scottie Scheffler at the Masters this year. And
Wow.
the U.S. Open, I didn't get as far as the Open Championship. The U.S. Open, I believe, was 14. 14
Wow.
first-time
The
winners.
lowest.
So here it's 11 first-time winners. Why not Cameron Young? I know he's a rookie. I get that rookies usually don't do well in any kind of major. But again, guys, I'm throwing out the logic of not picking guys who are supposed to win. And Cameron Young fits so many things in this mold that I think about. Has some really good finishes this year. I mean, like really close to winning. Second at Wells Fargo. Third at Heritage. Second at Genesis. And Honda and Arnold Palmer, firm and fast. Both top 20, 16th and 13th. And this is the kind of guy, Tyler, who doesn't have a bad part of his game. He gains strokes on the field in every single big category. They're not flashy, but he does it. And the fact that he does makes me really want to look at Cameron Young, especially at plus 7,500.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I guess I didn't realize that he was that positive in strokes gained across a lot of the different
Second
categories.
second off the tee.
Okay, that's obviously that's big, but he doesn't. Still not there yet for me. I think there's a natural progression that you win some of the lower tournaments, and then you start to contend, and then you actually get your first major. Especially for someone like this, who's a little bit more grassroots.
Which is true
I mean,
95% of the time.
But I don't think that he's a 5%er.
Okay.
I think
So
he's got a
you're
long
telling
career.
me there's a chance.
There's obviously a chance, but I'm not, Chris. Looking at this list,
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are going to be all about Max Homa.
Yeah.
People are so hot on Max Homa.
Yeah. Guys, he's
I
hot.
don't know.
He's hot and cold. Let me look him up for you and show you what he's
He's
like.
a fantastic golfer who can get it done at courses like this. Let's maybe if
Is
we're
it
talking first-time
courses like
winners.
this?
I don't know.
Riviera? I mean, that's a little like this, right?
I don't know about
Riviera's
that.
more tree-lined.
Riviera's tough. Riviera's really tough.
Yeah. Let's put that
Mike, you're gonna jump all over Jason Day here because I mean he's on this list.
Yeah.
I have some worries about Jason Day. I think at some point this year he's going to put 4 rounds together, and you guys are going to say, "Oh, okay, that's what he was talking about." But I don't think it's going to be this weekend. I think we're going to see a nice crop of fresh faces on the leaderboard, though. Kind of that next generation. I'll go with Colin Morikawa. Obviously not a fresh face, but kind of in line with these value picks. I think Sam Burns, Max Homa, and Bond, I think those guys are going to be relevant this weekend.
Last one I want to talk about is Brooks Koepka, but before we do that,
Where is it?
I want you guys to guess. I have Max Homa since the start of 2022. He's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 singles events, okay? Outside of the Wells Fargo win, how many top 10s does he have?
1.
0.
Nah.
0 top 10s.
I mean,
How many
Dude,
PGA wins does he have in the last 3 years, though?
like
see,
5, doesn't
More
he?
than Justin Thomas, and you're up on him. So I mean,
No, see, that's what it is, and that I get it. It's a long. I need a little bit more, but I don't know. I guess I'm not a no laying up guy.
Before we,
Tony Finau in the field, boys.
I didn't put him on this list, but guys,
Such
I
a
want to talk
letdown.
about Kefka because
Okay.
is it? I mean, on its face, I just don't see the magic of why we all love Brooks Koepka this time of year. Am I foolish to
Because he
think that way?
shows He gets it done. I mean,
He didn't do it at the Masters. I don't know why he WD'd last week. I think there's red flags, and there's one thing to have nostalgia and say, yeah, here it is. Yep, he's done this before. I know he's going to do it again. I don't care about his past results. This year just feels different to me. Tyler, I feel like you feel the same way as I do.
Yeah, that's fair, and it's just because I'm obsessed with all the other intangibles that no one really likes to talk about because it's the real life stuff, and our champions of the past have been able to put that on the back burner. But He's got like wedding stuff going on. There's other priorities in his life right now. And whether he cares or not, I don't know. I mean, do I want to see him do it? Yeah. Do I think that's the type of ammunition he wants, that he's built such a steep climb that he's going to have to try to overcome, that maybe that's what motivates him? Potentially, but man, I tell you what, I think he's another long shot. He's not a best value. I think he's a long shot for this weekend.
And crazy to think it's plus 4,100, and that would be a best value range for Brooks Koepka plus 4,000. Just seems ridiculous. And it's not a firm and fast versus soft golf course kind of debate, because when Brooks was Brooks, it didn't matter where he was playing. He was winning everywhere. Didn't matter.
Yep.
Mike said, Mike, you would put down Brooks? If I had to pick 4 guys, would Brooks be one of your 4?
No,
okay,
I don't
good.
think so.
But if he
does show up and is there on Sunday hoisting the trophy, like at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
All right, guys, I showed you this picture earlier. Time to play a little game.
This is a good one.
Pick 3 of these to be true.
Golly, I'm pumped just to see Tiger's picture.
Kefka misses the cut. Tiger in the top 25. If you watch Todd Lewis on Golf Channel today, raved about how great Tiger Woods looked.
Okay.
Scottie Scheffler outside the top 10. Spieth in the top 10. Rory no rounds under 69, which is 1 under, by the way. Rahm outside the top 15. What if you were doing a draft pick? What would be your first lock of this 6?
Go ahead, Mike.
Spieth in the top 10.
That's a lock?
Lock it in for me, like undoubtedly. That could say Spieth in the top 5. I think I'd still check that box.
If I gave you Spieth top 5, you would still check it first.
I think so.
10. I'm in though. I'll take that square.
I don't think Kefka's going to make the cut.
Get out of here with that.
I don't.
that might be my third choice if I need to get desperate.
So what's your second choice?
Ty, go ahead.
I'm thinking. So I'm feeling. Gosh, man, I really think these are tough, man. Rory's he's going to go under par, and it's probably going to be
good.
This should have been 68, not 69. This is a price.
Even 68, I think, and it'll be one of the final days when the pressure's off. So I think that's just so that's not it. Rahm, I think he's inside top 15. Scheffler, I think so. It looks like
you're down to Brooks and Tiger.
Yeah, and I'm So who do I think? I guess Tiger's going to crack the top 25, and dang, man, these are tough.
If we're picking Tiger to win one place, you gotta pick St. Andrews.
Oh,
I wouldn't do it here. Give him more time. Sure. If he's already this much better a month after the Masters, hopefully imagine what it would be like 2 months from now at St. Andrews. By the way, his favorite golf course in the world, it's not Augusta, it's St. Andrews. So if I had to pick, I would go Spieth top 10 for sure. I honestly would go Rahm outside the top 15.
That's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
As well as Tiger. Yep. That's where I'm at.
And I would go Kepka misses the cut.
Oh.
I've got Scheffler outside the top 10. I don't want it to happen, but I think it's happening. I think it's hard to stay hot so long and to stay focused that long. I think we're seeing some signs of him coming back to life. And I mean, let's be honest, to finish in the top 10 at a major, that's a huge accomplishment. And so I just don't think, I think he's running out of steam and will probably rally later in the season. So that's my second one. And then Tiger inside the top 25. A little hesitant on that. I don't think it's a lock per se as much as Spieth inside the top 10 is, or Spieth inside the top 5 even. But that's where I'm going. I'm confident in Tiger's game, and I think he learned some things about what he needs to be doing at the Masters, and this is a lot easier walk on him, and he's familiar with the course. I think it's looking good for him to finish inside the top 25.
And the other,
I'm going. I think the only reason that it's because of ties. I was thinking Scheffler the same way, but I think just like the Masters is going to be a slug of guys up there, and I think he'll eke his way in because of ties. So that's the only reason I'm going that route.
all right. So who's your one and done? Mine's Scheffler. Tyler, you got Spieth. Mike, I know you have Spieth.
I got a cramp in my toe is what I got.
Sorry, I detracted there. Ty, who did you say you're going one and done?
I'm looking at the list right now, and you know what? I'm throwing it all in. It doesn't even matter anymore. I'm going Rory.
Boom.
I'm going Rory.
We
I'm
haven't
going
talked
Rory.
about him much outside of peeping his name on the list there of leaders on the odds. I'll ride with Morikawa. Kind of sneaking that one in on you guys out of nowhere as we're wrapping up, but
Your phone
why not?
fell on the couch, right, Tyler? It didn't fall on the hardwood or anything, or like break glass.
It did not, and it didn't hit my dog or anything. We're okay.
Well, I know you don't care. Gunner's Gunner.
Oh, poor
No
buddy.
animals were harmed in the making of this.
in the filming
FPS.
of this episode.
All right, guys.
Can we get a disclaimer down there?
PGA Championship week. Can't wait to watch and tell you guys why
Sweet.
Brooks Koepka missed the cut. I hope he
Let's
wins.
go to
by
the
way.
comments real quick. Looks like Kevin McKee says, "Great show tonight, boys. Why isn't there any love for Tony Finau?"
Is that what he says?
Because Tony Finau.
Because
Next question.
Chris and I
Because
both went in on him the other week, and it did not play out well for us.
all right, boys.
Finau.
Good night.
He's going to have a good week. You know, Mike, he's going to have a good weekend.
I hope so. I'm a big Finau fan.